So we hear the term AI ready quite a bit too. What should this mean to organizations and executives? How does accountability factor in? We know that people will get blamed for bad deployment, but how should that ownership of implications be spread as we talk about vendor to company to technology to business owners? So what are some of your thoughts on kind of that AI readiness? Because everybody wants to jump to literacy, but I think readiness is maybe where we need to really start before we can manage.
I mean, one of the points that was brought up, I don't remember who said it, but on prioritization, I think that's also an important factor with readiness, because you need to be able to prioritize. And people like to use that word in a lot of different ways, but it means having a strong understanding of what's the outcome and the value that I really expect out of this system that I'm trying to implement. And that means trying to upfront calculate or estimate what you think that's actually going to be. So we really do at JPMorgan Chase, we track all of the different projects that are done. Upfront, we estimate what the value will be. It has to pass a test. And those are the things that we then look at to say, these are the top AI initiatives in the firm that we should be going after. And the executives literally carry around, a sheet with, the 50 top AI use cases. How is that going? And that alone has driven, quite a bit of organizational change, because people are now seeing it from both ends of the spectrum, right? People that are building the technologies and then people that are, top down. So prioritization, definitely a key aspect. And then on the ownership, right, like you mentioned, getting many people in the room, it takes everyone that's building that solution in order to see it through and own it all the way. So after you deploy it, how are you actually measuring whether or not the output are making sense or not? Do you have the feedback loops in place, and are you monitoring them? If you have an agentic system, are you tracking the traces so that you can see the different steps that are being taken and evaluating that on a regular basis? That gets baked into the model governance process, where a formal pattern that organizations should be adhering to, whatever makes sense for you. Our group has broken that system so many times over the past couple of years, but that innovation is really what needs to happen. The systems need to be broken and challenged in a way, and that only involves multiple people working together.
And our governance professionals need to be challenged for this new era. They can't sit back and just throw bombs into kind of say no. They need to understand that their job is to say yes and how. Anybody have any?
And why you still own an organization our size, where when groups are starting to adopt contracts with any type of outside or vendor of any, seeing the pace of change, what is the realistic approach to even entering that kind of contractual mindset in terms of we're about to launch one right now that I've already seen students rebuild for free on their own, and we're about to pay millions of dollars to have every student have access to this. So what do you think in terms of length of contract, how deep you should get involved with some of these, because the pace of change might outdo it in 3 months, 6 months?
It's a tough concept. I mean, I can tell you that there are lots of schools of thought, right? Like some people are vehemently opposed to, only going after one vendor in that way. Others are, and it's hard to say what the right answer is. I would say definitely just have a good exit strategy. So make sure that you are allowed to shift and move if you need to. And you shouldn't be, necessarily comparing what a vendor offers from what somebody can build on a weekend. It's really easy to build the prototypes and have them, running locally or, in some small environment. It's a much more complicated task. So again, in the education, it's important to think about those things where you're not just taking a look at the 2 screens that are being presented to you and thinking, okay, if somebody can build that in a weekend, I should go with that instead. It takes effort. You should think about all of that's involved with that.